Hey everybody, I am Bill, one of the co-founders of AircraftIQ. Brad is in the Cardinal over there. So you can say hi, Brad. So this is a Cessna 177 Cardinal, and this was one of the main planes that was used in the development of AircraftIQ. On my personal YouTube channel, I did a review walk around first flight in this from my perspective as the pilot. But Brad's gonna talk about why he chose a Cardinal as a rental flight school plane, and a little bit more in detail about the airplane that really helped inspire the formation of AircraftIQ. Dramatic reveal of Brad.
Here I am, right where you left me.
All right, Brad, so this is your Cessna Cardinal.
It is.
It's a very pretty plane, and it's a rental semi-flight school plane.
Sorta.
Traditionally, a 172 is kind of the go-to flight school plane. So why did you choose this plane to have as a rental plane?
So I've always wanted a Cardinal from when I first started flying, really. I never actually planned on owning a Bonanza ever. The only reason I wound up with that Bonanza is because when I was flying it for the previous owner, he eventually needed to sell it, and I told him, I was joking with him at the time, I told him that he wasn't allowed to sell it to anyone else. So I wound up buying the Bonanza because of that. But what I actually wanted originally was a Cardinal, and what I really wanted was a Cardinal RG. Over the span of my aviation career and kind of doing what I'm doing now, I've been in a position where I wanted to give back a little bit because I had a lot of help along the way. So one of the ways that I wanted to give back is I wanted to have an airplane or a rentable airplane that I could do basically at cost flight instruction, or even a little bit below cost flight instruction for people in aircraft rental. So that way they have access where they otherwise wouldn't have, you know, because it's gotten so expensive to learn how to fly that I wanted something to solve that problem. So I was looking for 172s, I was looking for Cherokee Warriors, and I had started looking at Archer 1s as well, but I had always wanted a Cardinal. Back in 2015, I flew a 1973 177B and fell in love with it. Just fell in love with the cabin and the performance and the efficiency of it and kind of the way the airplane's set up and things like that. So I was lucky enough that this airplane popped up for sale. It was a private sale, was never officially listed anywhere as far as I'm aware. But yeah, it popped up for sale, so I was able to make an offer on it. And the seller, who's super cool, college kid, he was graduating, getting ready to go off to his next step, and it was time for him to get rid of the airplane, so he sold it to me. And now that was 3 years and about 1,000 hours ago at this point on this airplane, and an engine ago, and a panel ago, and because it has developed quite a bit since I bought it. So
What's the panel breakdown?
So this is everything you see in this panel is new after I bought the airplane.
From the gray plastic up, obviously.
Yeah, from here up, basically. This is a Garmin GI-275. I shouldn't say it's new. It's new to this airplane. This one actually came out of the Bonanza when I had my 275s in there before I bought the Cardinal. So it's got a Garmin 275, GI-275 as the standby. It's got a Garmin G3X as the primary, as well as the MFD and the engine gauges, or the EIS. This is a GTN 650XI here. This is a GNC 215, I think is the number. It's the NavCom, it's not just the COM. And then this is a GTX 345, so ADS-B in and out here, and then WAS GPS. And then this is a PMA 7000B audio panel. The 7000B replaced the audio panel that was in it beforehand, which died coincidentally right after I bought it. Just that's airplane ownership for you in a nutshell. So
super capable panel. It's so fun.
Yeah, this is a true as low as it gets legally panel. There's always the argument about should you versus could you, but as far as the could you side goes, this panel is certainly capable of that. It'll do just about anything you want it to do. So one of the fun things I love about this from a teaching perspective is that if you want to teach somebody round dials, you can do that, just like that. So you get round dials to teach on. Now, I don't really teach that anymore because I find that to be not particularly useful, other than a hey meet whiz bang gotcha sort of thing. But it's there if you want it, which is kind of fun.
AircraftIQ, the new tagline is going to be whiz bang.
Whiz bang, there you go. But yeah, it's just as capable as anything that you might find in the jets that I fly, which is kind of neat. So.
All right, so I'm gonna do kind of like a live roaming B-roll because I particularly like the exterior of this airplane. So from an ownership perspective, as I walk around, talk about the process of picking an airplane condition-wise from the visual side of things, and not just the hours. And we'll get to the hours.
Sure. So. Cardinals specifically are kind of interesting because they're sort of a one-off airplane. There's no other airplane in the Cessna inventory that was built alongside the Cardinal or shares a whole lot of parts with it. It has some parts commonality with the 172 and with the 210, but not a ton. So with this airplane specifically, there's a lot of parts that are unique to the plane and should kind of be looked at as far as weak points, if that makes sense, or consideration points. So I can point out one of them, these door hinges right here. These door hinges are known for cracking on Cardinals. So when looking at Cardinals specifically, you want to take a good look at the door hinges. Anytime you have a tailwind and you open the doors on these airplanes, that's how those hinges get cracked. The wind catches the door and it's just one big sail. As you'll see as we come around to the other side of the airplane, that door is wide open. Another interesting thing with the Cardinal is that it's subject to a couple of pretty significant ADs. One of the ADs that it's subject to is a spar inspection. So that was accomplished on this airplane about the week before I bought it. That was one of the conditions of sale. They haven't had to replace a whole lot of spars on the Cardinals, but I think every Cardinal at this point has had the spar AD completed. So that one's important. Make sure that got done. It's actually the same spar AD on the 210, I believe, but yeah, so the spar AD is the big one for this as far as condition and looking at things. So other stuff with it is just general upkeep of the control surfaces.
All right, it's maybe moderately quieter.
Marginally. So
Stabilator.
Yeah, Cardinals are unique in that they have, or at least unique for Cessnas, in that they have a stabilator instead of an elevator. So there's some interesting points on the stabilator that really, Sky Chefs? Really? Airport.
It's tough when your office is a extremely busy, active airport.
Yeah.
So
12th busiest airport in the country.
My favorite word, authentic. We're nothing if not authentic.
Nothing if not authentic. Anyway, so some Cardinals have the abrasion boots on the leading edge, which is nice because that just takes care of the leading edge as far as picking up FOD and things like that. The other thing with the Cardinal or the stabilator specifically, that is worth looking at is the clearance between the actuator for the servo tab and the housing that it lives in right here. So that clearance is frequently misgapped, if you will. I know that's not really a word, but like there's not enough clearance there, so it has to be adjusted. But usually when you see that, it's these screws down here on the bottom of the servo tab actuator that are rubbing up against the housing or the fairing there. So that's an important part of it too. But I mean, really honestly, this airplane doesn't have that many gotchas on it. You know, like it's all small stuff with the exception of the spar, and the spar is addressed by the AD. So as long as the AD's been complied with, then
Brad, where can people check to see if ADs have been complied with?
On AircraftIQ, in fact. Yep.
This video, this walk-around is brought to you by AircraftIQ.
Yep. As you can tell, I don't do well on camera. I do well behind the camera, but not on camera. So this is not my normal arrangement, for the record.
And vice versa, which is why the camera has jumped around all over the place.
Hilarious.
I like the strutless wings on this.
Yeah, the strutless wonder.
So it's the same wing as a 210, correct?
Not quite. It's similar, but it's not quite the same wing. No. It's a little smaller, a little less robust. So the 210 weighs about another 1,000 pounds than this, so it's got a much beefier wing. Also sits much higher.
But I love how squat it looks. It looks fast, it's raked back, which kind of contributes to some of the challenges in landing this plane and learning, like transitioning from a Cherokee or a 172. Because your visibility is way different. It's not as good as in a 172.
You sit forward of the wing in this airplane. So like if you have, with the exception of if you're as tall as Bill is, normally your eyes are right about here. So you actually sit forward of the wing so you can see all the way up and all the way down minus 5 degrees either side, even when you're sitting inside, which is very unusual for a high wing. But it's a lot of fun. It's kind of neat.
Cool. Thanks, Brad, for that breakdown.
You bet.
Of the AircraftIQ Cessna Cardinal. If you are the proud owner of a Cessna Cardinal or any piston-driven aircraft, check out AircraftIQ. That's aircraft-iq.com. Your free trial is awaiting you.
Yeah, and this, if you read the blog post or the AIN article, this is my convertible. This is my beach cruiser right here. So
yeah, check.
Now with wings reinstalled.
We'll link that in the description. A couple articles of the fun adventure this poor little guy went on, and the feeling of shock pulling up to a beach and seeing this airplane sitting on it was not fun.
Yep, agreed.
Any airplane for that matter, except for one that should be there.
Yeah, except for maybe a helicopter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Comment below what you think of this Cardinal, and check out AircraftIQ.